The meanings of Surah Al-Fatiha. We went over the basic meanings. We also went over the basic ma'arif, or the depth of the meaning of the words. Today inshallah we'll do some masail that are affiliated with Surah Al-Fatiha. One thing that should be understood, that we pointed out yesterday as well almost, that when we say Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has forbidden it to ask someone else for help and to worship someone else. So worshipping graves, worshipping any living or dead person, or doing any acts special for worship, such as sajda or ruku, to extend this kind of an action for anyone else is extremely clearly forbidden. Similarly, Iyyaka nasta'in, to ask someone for help in terms of if somebody is dead, asking them for help, for example, calling out about after Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anh, or Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anh, Sayyidina Shaikh Pir Abdul Qadir Jilani, whoever, even the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we cannot say Al-Madad Ya Rasulullah. It's a shirk. It's not allowed. So that's not permissible. It should be very clear. Now, two other things. It should be understood that when we are talking about masail, there can be difference of opinion among the ulama. And basically, this difference is a difference of fiqh, their understanding of the Quran and Hadith and the amal of Sahaba, and what they've given importance to. So there's several examples in the life of the Prophet ﷺ. Sometimes the Prophet ﷺ is reported to have done the same thing in 2 or 3 different methods. So it should be understood that we follow, for example, we are Hanafi, we follow Imam Abu Hanifa, his understanding, we trust his understanding of the Quran and Sunnah and the amal of Sahaba, the practice of Sahaba. Now the other Imams, the other 3 Imams, Imam Malik, Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, and Imam Shafi, we do not say that they are wrong. It is wrong for us to call them wrong or think that they are wrong. It is just that they have, when they are presented, when they have several different hadiths on the same topic, they, in their opinion, considering, taking into consideration all other hadiths, ayat of the Quran, practice of the Sahaba, practice that they know has been running from the Prophet ﷺ, they have given importance to one opinion. Imam Azam has given importance to some other opinion. The third Imam may have given an importance to some other opinion. It should be remembered that the ulama, the Imam, do not have any difference of opinion in terms of aqaid. The aqaid, the basic 7 beliefs of Islam, they fully 100% agree upon. If somebody differs in those aqaid, then they become a different sect, and sometimes if they differ vastly, they actually go out of the fold of Islam. But these ulama, they agree in aqaid. There's no difference in aqaid. There's no difference in basics. There's difference in very peripheral of issues. For example, where should we have our fold our hands when we are standing for salah? For example, these 2 masail that we'll read today, that we'll talk about today, saying Ameen after Surah Al-Fatiha. For example, if the people are following an Imam, should they recite Surah Al-Fatiha when they are standing behind the Imam? Now, the Aimma have differed in this, but these are very peripheral things. The problem is that today we just give way much importance than is supposed to be given to these peripheral masail. Imam Malik is right, Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal is right, Imam Shafi is right, Imam Azam Abu Hanifa is right. All of them are correct. They have differed on their opinion. For us, what we have to do is to trust one Imam and follow them. If you are living in a country where there is more ulama of Ahnaf, and that is the case almost all over the world, that the ilm of Hanafiya is prevalent all over the world, except for certain Arab countries. For the people there, it is recommended that since they have an abundance of ulama of the Hanafi madhab, they follow the Hanafi madhab. If there is a country where the Aimma of Maliki mazhab are prevalent, and it is hard to find a Hanafi alim, it is hard to constantly keep in touch and keep on asking how Imam Abu Hanifa has given a fatwa in this, then it is best for them to follow some other madhab. It is also very important that if you adopt one madhab, you should stick to that madhab. Why? Because if you do not do that, that opens up a whole channel of applying your own opinion to things that to things that is not your status. When we talk about these masail, we'll understand because how complicated this, how intricate and how complicated this whole thing is. So it is a mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that the A'immah, they have done extensive research, and the whole ummah for over 1,000 years there was not a single person who would say that I don't follow any one of these A'immah. There wasn't a single person for 1,000 years. As we are running away from the time of the Prophet ﷺ, as the days of fitan are coming, there's new thinking arising in people when they are saying that we will not follow any imam but we'll follow our own judgment. Now this, if you think about it, and from the example that I give today, we'll understand how hard is it. Let's talk about the masla, which is more simpler, saying Ameen after Sirat al-Ladina an'amta alayhim ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Hazrat Wail ibn Hajar, the hadith that Imam Abu Hanifa has given importance to, is that he said that I have seen, he's named several Sahaba, including Ali radiallahu anhu, Abdullah ibn Masud is has a vital station in the fiqh, in the understanding of deen. He has said that I have seen them, they will never say three things loudly. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim when they are praying, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, and Ameen. These are three things they'll never say loudly. So Imam Abu Hanifa has taken this view that Ameen should be said in your heart. This is what we follow. If some other Imam is saying, now pay attention, I'm saying if an Imam is saying, not me or you or this person or that person, no, they have no value. Whatever they are saying holds no value. Why? Because they do not have the ilm. You cannot give fatwa based on one single hadith. At times there is about over 100 hadiths on that same single masala. So it is not my job, it is not your job, it is the job of the A'immah. They have done it, and for 1,000 years the ulama of this ummah have trusted their judgment. And why I'm giving importance to this 1,000 years of agreement? Because the Prophet ﷺ has said that my ummah will not agree to anything that is wrong. My ummah will not agree to anything that is wrong. So for 1,000 years the ummah agreed upon following these A'immah. So it is not possible that for 1,000 years, if this taqleed, if following an imam in a masla is wrong, if this is wrong, for 1,000 years the ummah could not have stayed in agreement to this. Anyway, so all of the A'immah even agree that Ameen should be said. Some say that it should be said loudly. Some say Imam Azam Abu Hanifa, the fatwa Imam Azam Abu Hanifa, taking the hadith that I just mentioned to you, he has declared this, that it should be said in a soft tone in your heart. Now there's a third kind of saying Ameen, and this should be mentioned. Even in the mazahib that Ameen is recommended to be said out loudly, it is even for them not permissible to say it out loud so loudly that their voice can be heard from far away. Even none of the A'immah, none of the fuqaha allow this. Or sometimes we must have seen this back home, must have seen it here and there, that people want to make it a point that we are saying it loudly, that we believe in this. That is impermissible. That is where the problem lies. Imam Malik, Imam Shafi'i, they have recommended this being called out loudly, but even that not with the intention of shar in your heart, not with the intention of making it a point or proving it to someone that we are saying it loudly. Anyway, that's one thing. The other thing, and the more complicated one, is when do you recite Surah Al-Fatiha and when do you not? Now there's at least 3 or 4 hadiths that I, having no knowledge, know about this masala that differ. The most famous one that people use to create confusion is that of Hazrat Mus'ab ibn Umair radiallahu anhu, that it was Fajr time, the Sahaba were praying behind the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It became difficult for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to recite, make tilawah. When the prayer was finished, when the salah was finished, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam turned towards the Sahaba and asked them, "Were you reciting something behind me?" And they said, "Ya Rasulullah, yes we were." The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam forbade them and said, "You should not recite anything behind me. It made difficult for me to recite what I was reciting, to make the recitation." The Prophet ﷺ at that point also made an exception for Surah Al-Fatiha, and he said that without Fatiha there is no Salah. These are the approximate words of the Prophet ﷺ. Without Fatiha there is no Salah. Now some people, out of their limited knowledge, have taken this hadith and started giving fatwa and started telling people that if you do not recite Fatiha, even when you are behind the Imam, your Salah is not valid. So people get confused with my Shaikh. There was many people who would come and ask, should we repeat all those Salah? Because we never recite Salah. In Salah we do not recite Surah Al-Fatiha when we are standing behind the Imam. The problem is that there is actually 3 more hadiths where the Prophet ﷺ himself has clarified this issue. In one hadith, the Prophet ﷺ has said that when you are behind an Imam, the qira'at of the Imam suffices for the muqtadi. One point. The other point is that the Prophet ﷺ in another hadith has clarified that there is no salah for anyone who does not recite Fatiha except if he is behind an Imam. So that the knowledge of the A'immah, because they had all these hadiths before them, they decided and they gave a fatwa that when you are behind an Imam, you do not recite Surah Al-Fatiha, but if you are praying alone, if you are praying singly, then no salah without Fatiha. Now this is one example that should make it crystal clear that if we have the passion to start giving fatwa based on one hadith that we know, with the limited knowledge that we have, we are doing a great harm not only to ourselves but to other people. If we have that much passion, then we should strive to get the knowledge that Imam Abu Hanifa had. We should strive to get the knowledge and the taqwa that Imam Abu Hanifa had. He was the Imam of his time. He was not made the Imam of his time by anyone. The whole Ummah calls him Imam Azam, the greatest Imam. There's some reason behind it. He had that knowledge that nobody had at that time. He had that taqwa that was unmatched at that time. So inshallah, keeping that in mind, I just thought I would, because my Hazrat, when he was giving the explaining this, he made it a point to explain what is fiqh, what are the ikhtilafat between fiqh, and when we are telling masail, we are following the Hanafi mazhab. We are telling the masail of the Hanafi mazhab. What we are not saying anyone else is wrong, but we are saying all of the 4 A'immah are correct. We follow Imam Abu Hanifa and we stick to his rulings. Why do we stick to his rulings? Because if we stop sticking to one Imam and pick one thing from Imam Malik, pick one thing from Imam Abu Hanifa, pick one thing from Imam Ahmad, we are basically saying we are the 5th Imam. Those 4 were there, but now we know we get to decide which to choose where. So we are saying we are the 5th Imam because we know better, we know how to choose which Imam. So we stick to one. The other reason is that if we start doing this, we are not great muttaqi people. We do not have that kind of taqwa. So what will happen is that even without knowing, we will start going in the direction of the easiest direction. So if this fatwa is easier in the fiqh of Imam Malik, we will take it. If this fatwa is easier in the fiqh of Imam Abu Hanifa, we will take it. And again the same thing, we will make a 5th fiqh of our own, which is utterly wrong. So inshallah, these were the masail. Next inshallah, from tomorrow we will start Surah Al-Baqarah. Just to recapitulate, Ameen should be said but in your heart. Fatiha should not be recited in any of the 4 rakat or 3 rakat or 2 rakat behind an Imam. When you are praying alone, without Fatiha there is no salah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala sayyidil mursaleen. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. اللهم إنا نسألك العفو والعافية والمعافاة الدائمة في الدين والدنيا والآخرة. صلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. آمين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.